Hi friends, Renee Keese here with Carolina Creative. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here with some more card making ideas for you today. First, let me just share a little bit of information. This is my host code, still good through the end of May, and where to reach me, either at or hashtag Carolina Creative, and I can be found on the Stampin' Up! Website at reneekeese@stampinup.net. I'll keep this on my glass work mat here. Today, I've decided I want to play with the Stripy scrap card technique. This has been around for quite a while, and it's an easy card to do, and you're going to use up your scraps. I have a basket here filled with strips, and this is just from cutting cardstock and designer paper, all kinds of shapes and lengths and colors. And when I get in the mood to do this, I can make a rainbow. I can pull certain colors that I want to work with. And today I pulled pinks and purples. And when I flip the camera down, you'll see that. I've already pulled out a card base, so you can see I'm working with this pale purple. It's Fresh Freesia, or if you happen to have Purple Posy, that would work with this color scheme that I've got, even Highland Heather if you wanted to go darker. And then I punched out a stitched rectangle. This is going to be for my sentiment. Beyond that, I'm going to start showing you all the strips. So I have pulled out just a bunch of different designer paper, a little bit of cardstock. I've cut a piece of cardstock that is my base, and this is a 4" by 5 1/4, so that it will fit within my traditional card base. And basically what I'm going to do is I've just laid these out and decided this is how I'm going to do my layout. I'm going to start gluing, and then I will trim the edges. And then we'll figure out how we're going to decorate a little bit more. So I typically do this by starting in one corner and try to match it up at the bottom, or what you're seeing is the top, but match up one corner perfectly. And then I just go. I'm looking at, where I need glue to go to the edge. I'm going to make sure I've got some liquid glue that covers the whole piece. I'm going to line up the bottom again. The good thing is when you start with the size like this, if you want to trim it down, it's very easy just to run it through a trimmer, or I'll use my guillotine cutter for that, is to just cut it off, because in the end, I'm going to trim all this. But for right now, I think I'm going to switch that. I'm going to put this looks like Petunia Pop out of the new In Colors. And it's just a little strip. You see, the sizes are not consistent. I don't worry about that. I like that they're irregular and inconsistent. Let me make sure I get this to the edge. There we go. So it's just different colors. You could even run some of these through an embossing folder and give it a little bit of texture. That can be a lot of fun too, to add something with texture. But you're kind of getting the idea. I'm going to put my fingers right where I don't want the glue to go. I'm trying not to get too much glue overhang, because it's messy when I start cutting, and I'm going to use an older pair of scissors for that. Now you see, I'm putting these all up touching. You can space them out too. If you have a color that you're using behind, it can be fun, like if you black, or in this case, I could have used dark purple. But you can also put, let that color show through, but just by spacing it out like that. But I'm going to push it over flush, because I started this flush, and now because I wiggled it doesn't want to go back. I want to make sure I've got the edge lined up. There we go. And like that. And now, yeah, I saved some space, and that's okay. I'm just going to trim that off. I'll just make it a little bit smaller. Or I could have pulled another piece of paper out, which I may do that. I may just add another little strip to the edge and let it hang off, and then I'll trim that later. How about another purple? Since I got my basket right here, why not? So let's add a little bit of purple to this edge. There we go. I must not have much glue on that bottom edge. I don't. So, and that's what you got to watch. When I'm done, I'll check all the edges and make sure I've got this top edge glued down well. Okay, and I got it. You do end up with glue everywhere. I just got some glue on my work surface too, but that's all right. So now what I'm going to do is just snip. I'm going to run my scissors right along the edge here and cut off all this extra. And you see what I mean about the glue, but this goes really fast. That way and this way. And I think this is going to be easy enough to cut using my scissors here, and then I'll have to clean the scissors, but just go ahead and cut this edge right off. There we go. And that's got glue on it. So now I have, it's unique. You know, I have a card base. I'm going to use it on my, it's a focal point basically on my card base. And I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and then I may put that on there as an angle, and then we'll talk about how I want to finish out the card. I've either stamped or punched some flowers. I was thinking with these colors that might be the most appropriate. So on this rectangle, I pulled a sentiment out of this Charming Sentiments stamp set. I really like these. They seem to go with most any sentiment you would ever need. So this one now says, wishing you everything wonderful. And I'm not going to put anything on the inside because I want to leave this very generic. This can be best wishes, this could be birthday, this could be get well, it could be an anniversary. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I could do with this. So what I'm going to do is glue this focal point down onto my card base. There we go. And you can see I'm using my Stampin' Seal. This is a little bit heavier than normal because it is 2 layers. But there we go. I've kind of squared that up. And I do think I want to put this maybe not quite that much of an angle. And now I've got a decision to make. I punched out, I stamped using Sentimental Park. I stamped in 2 tones, the purple. So, I mean, I could put flowers on there. Or I've punched out from the lavender stamp and punch set. Just some flowers and some greenery. Because I thought, well, if you tie a little bow on this, that could look kind of cute. Is just to have, oh, I'm thinking that's just too busy. It uses all the colors, but now that I'm looking at it, I think that's too busy. I think I'm better off with just the simple flowers, maybe on the edge here. So let's go with that. I'm going to glue this flat. So let's use my seal again. And then I may put dimensionals behind those flowers and add just a little bit of, I need my dimensionals, add just a little bit of Wink of Stella to it as well, give it a little sparkle. But I'm almost done. So you can see once you've picked out some colors and some paper, and now you can see I cheated. I was playing with 2 different stamps trying to decide which one I wanted to use, and knowing that I would punch it out and just use the other side no matter what I picked. So I don't waste too much paper. I'll stamp it 2 different ways and then decide how to use it. So let me, I have one more backing, it didn't want to come off. Put a little bit of purple flowers on there and give it just a little shimmer here. Since I went with the bigger print of the flowers and some berries. There we go. And I'm gonna, like I said, leave the inside. So let me flip this back up. This is an easy technique. Using up scraps, any different colors. It can be a rainbow. You could go chromatic. You know, you could start with blues and go dark and go to light. You could do a sunrise. There's so many things you can do with this. They can go up and down. They can go parallel. I've done it on an angle before. You know, any way you want to run your strips, it can be a lot of fun. So, quick card, using up scraps. Just play with what you've got on hand and just add a sentiment and a little bit of a focal point on top of it. So stay tuned for another video. Thanks for joining me today.